Today I'm going to talk to you about the Nike ALPHAFLY Next Percent 2s and how I think that they might be the best and worst shoe for triathlon. So the second generation of the ALPHAFLYs is quite literally incredible. Like, out of the box, very, very good. The ALPHAFLYs which I had before and I was going to use in Dresden, but warmed up and did my prep sessions in Dresden and things like that and used them in the Commonwealth Games, were amazing, and they were so good, the best shoe I've ever worn. But they did take a little bit of time to break in, so I needed to break in the sole before being able to feel that cushion, feel the kind of protection of the lower limbs whilst I was running. Whereas the ALPHAFLY Next Percent 2s, the second generation, don't need that breaking in. I found straight out of the box, they were an incredible pair of shoes. The ALPHAFLYs are by far and away the best shoe I've ever worn in triathlon, and it's because of the way that they protect the legs so that the muscular kind of damage and the lower limb conditioning doesn't need to necessarily be as good as it would have done without these shoes. You can literally rely on your fitness rather than maybe more of the muscular element that is sometimes seen when you were wearing race flats back in the day. For me personally, they make about a 5 to 8 second difference in comparison to something like the Nike Pegasus 39s, which is ridiculous, like quite literally ridiculous. I cannot believe that these shoes are the way they are. And the only way that I think I can compare it to, or what I can compare it to, is something like the Farskins. It's like putting on a pair of Speedos or trunks, or funky trunks, if you will, and then putting on a pair of these Farskin jammers. Like, that's the sort of difference that I'm talking about here. And not only that, is they're basically aiding your muscles to propel you forward. It's madness. Like, they are so good. Like, within this session, I put them on, and yeah, sure, they are brand new, and whilst I say they don't need breaking in, they obviously do need a slight breaking in of the foam, but straight out of the box, it's the best shoe that I've ever used. They don't need as much breaking in as previous sets. So gonna try out these bad boys, see if they're any good. So had to swap it over my original ALPHAFLYs because they had a small rip in, and I've traded them in for the ALPHAFLY 2s. Pretty tight to get on in transition, so I'm gonna have to see how that goes. See if I can find a solution for it. I tried the size above, but they were too loose. You're just gonna do a few reps build now. So what I'm gonna do is use a bit of this session to break them in before doing a bigger session or a race. You're gonna have to excuse this running, like, it's not my best running or run form that I've ever exhibited. I'm still slightly injured from Dresden, from the crash in Dresden, and I'm still working back into it. This is my first session or run session back since then, and it's 3 or 4 weeks after the incident. So yeah, whilst that's happening, I'm putting on these shoes, and I'm still running muscularly very, very well. Whether or not the technique is there or not, that's to be disputed. And yeah, obviously give me tips in the comments below, but yeah, it is what it is, I'm afraid. I'm not the most technical runner there, I'm not the most efficient runner, but I'm working on it. In terms of efficiency, the ALPHAFLYs are second to none. They are quite literally amazing in terms of their efficiency and what they bring to me as an athlete. Not everyone, they're not for everyone. I have tried the ASICS shoes and a couple of other pairs of carbon shoes. These are the ones for me. They work the best, and I found the ASICS a bit hard and compact and a bit slappy against the floor. Whereas these, they're just magical. It just felt like I was floating across the surface. I worked a bit harder, but a fair bit quicker. They still need wearing in, I'd say. They're still quite hard, softer than the previous pair straight off the bat, but still quite solid underfoot. and a little bit tight around the sides. Like, I can feel them on the sides of my feet, so we'll see how they go next time. In terms of why they might also be the worst shoe for triathlon, they are quite tight to get on in comparison to any other shoe that I've worn. So I can't just use elastic laces to get them on. Even if I go a size up, the size up is actually too big. So this is just half a size, not a full size. But what I might have to do, like, bear with me here, is cut the upper, like the tongue bit. I don't know if this is mad or not. Like, inform me below before I do it. Comment below before I go ahead with this, and let me know if you've done it or if you know someone else who's done it, and whether or not it's worked, because I would really like to use these in my next race, but whether or not it's a sensible idea, I kind of need a solution for getting them on a bit quicker. Even though 70.3 is a little bit slower in transition, I still don't want to lose loads of time by not being able to get my feet into my shoes quickly. So yeah, that's the one big downfall I'd say about these shoes. In terms of the stability, like, so much better than the ALPHAFLY first gen. The grip is so much better as well. So yeah, I think like the foot placement is so much better than previous generations of the Nike shoes. I think that's where they've fallen down so badly in the past, and they've really rectified that with this shoe. Reading maybe between 3 and 4. 3.2. Between 3 and 4. Yeah, no, that's decent. That's about where I wanted it. So yeah, it's good. Good tempo-y, threshold-y sort of pace. So yeah, no, it's good. Cool. I hope that gives you a bit of an insight into what I'm thinking about with this shoe, and what I might do to the shoe in order to be able to race in it a little bit more effectively. Let me know your experience, and do comment as to whether or not you think I'm mad, or whether or not you think it's a good idea to do a bit of DIY. Yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.